Shalom, family. I hope everybody is doing well. We're just going to go briefly over this executive order that Trump signed today for policing, and it is no point in getting your hopes up over anything that Trump's, anything he does in regards to policing is going to favor cops. It's not going to favor anyone in the Black community. And it certainly will not stop police from harming people as they are today. So anybody that's hoping for more, you will be sadly disappointed. What he did really doesn't change anything about policing at all. It was just a gesture to make it look as if he was doing something about policing in the country. But when you see what the executive order is, he's not really doing anything. We can't expect a lot of good from a president that calls himself law and order, as if people like him are in order. We haven't seen that for centuries. When have they ever been in order? We're still waiting to see it. So we're just going to touch on this a bit. Boy, what a day. What a year. And when you really think about it, I don't think we can compare this year to any other previous year at all. Okay, yeah, it's Trump just being Trump. All right, y'all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so we can just go over this article. Okay, family, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay. Just give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you very much, family. Okay. Many of you may have heard that Trump signed an executive order which focuses on training, and we know what's going on in the country is not a training issue. It is a bad police culture. That's what's going on in the country. It has nothing to do with training. You cannot train racism and bad policing and corruption in policing out of these police departments. All right, so this came out in the Washington Post, June 16th, 2020. Trump signs order on policing, but Democrats and activists say it falls far short of what is needed, which, look, Trump is not going to do anything for the Black community, y'all. Just don't hold your breath on it. I sure don't. Trump announced an executive order action on policing Tuesday, but his plan was swiftly panned by Democrats and liberal groups as falling far short of the sweeping changes needed to address what they have called a culture of systematic racism and brutality that sparked nationwide protests. In the Rose Garden ceremony, Trump formally unveiled steps to offer new federal incentives for local police to bolster training and create a national database to track misconduct, vowing that African Americans who have died at the hands of police accused of abuse will not have died in vain. Yes, they did. because your executive order ain't shit. But the event was heavy on symbolism as the president surrounded himself with uniformed officers and police union officials. So that tells you right there what side Trump is on. He is never going to do anything in a big way for the Black community when it comes down to police brutality and our people getting killed unarmed. He surrounded himself by cops and people in the police unions. A show of solidarity that signaled he was unwilling to risk angering law enforcement communities that he considers a key part of his conservative political base. Trump said he had met ahead of the ceremony with families of Black people killed by police, including Tatiana Jefferson, Botham Jean, Jamel Robeson, and others, but they did not join him for his remarks. I can never imagine your pain or the depth of your anguish, but I can promise to fight for justice for all of our people. That is just a bunch of word salad. Look, let's just be realistic. There has not been one single president that has looked out for the best interests of the Black community when it comes down to policing, and Trump is no exception. Trump said before pivoting to a defense of law enforcement organizations whose tactics have prompted calls from Black Lives Matter and other activists to defund the police by reallocating public money to social programs. And Trump says, I strongly oppose radical and dangerous efforts to defund, dismantle, and dissolve our police department, Trump declared. Americans know the truth. Without police, there is chaos, which is false. Because up in New York, when they were being picketed at a different time, the cops stopped patrolling certain areas and the crime went down. So that's not true. Without law, there is anarchy. Without safety, there is catastrophe, which is not true. That's already been proven not to be true. We need leaders at every level of government who have the moral clarity to state these obvious facts. The politically charged nature of the events was illustrated by criticism from civil rights leaders skeptical of Trump's sincerity on the issue, aimed at families that met with Trump. In response to S. Lee Merritt, a lawyer representing some of the families, posted a photo on Twitter of himself in the White House with the mother of John, a Black man who was killed by an officer who entered his Dallas apartment by mistake. That was no mistake. Amber Geiger was dumb. How the hell do you not know where you live in 2018? Show me the civil rights leader who are upset about families making a direct appeal for federal intervention after the murder of their loved one. And I'll show you a clown, Lee Merritt wrote on his post. Trump's remarks came as Congress is wrestling with legislation measures to address the widespread outpour of anger and frustration. The protests that have roiled American cities following the killing of George Floyd, a Black man, in Minneapolis last month. House Democrats and Senate Republicans are moving forward with competing proposals, and both sides appear to have found little common ground Tuesday, with the president's executive actions potentially setting a marker for his GOP allies over the limit of what they would accept in a compromise bill. Unfortunately, This executive order will not deliver comprehensive, meaningful change and accountability in our nation's police department that Americans are demanding. White House officials have previewed the executive action a day earlier, and Trump offered few additional details in a 27-minute address that at times took a tone of a campaign speech. It really did. That's why I didn't even play it, because it just sounds like instead of talking about his executive order, he was sitting there tooting his own horn. You know, it was, he made the whole thing about campaigning for himself instead of talking about police reform. And that's how I know Trump is not serious about police reform. He spent a good portion of his remarks touting his record on the economy, boasting of recent upticks in the stock market, listing what he believes he had done for the minority communities, and falsely accusing former President Barack Obama. I wish he would stop bringing that up. You've been the president for a full first term now. It's time to give it up. And former Vice President Biden, so he was blaming them for things. And of course, he failed at addressing police brutality. The president departed the event without taking questions from reporters. Trump emphasized that he's willing to work with Congress on additional measures, but his executive actions were lambasted by Democratic leaders who said the president and his Republican allies were tinkering at a time when dramatic reforms are needed. House Democrats are moving forward with a legislative package that would strictly ban police chokeholds and make it easier for victims of police violence to sue officers and departments, and create a national database of police misconduct. The Judiciary Committee is expected to advance the bill Wednesday, preparing it for a floor vote next week. So that's pretty much where it stands. Again, don't hold your breath waiting on Trump to do a damn thing. He ain't about to do nothing to these cops because he favors police. You got to understand, these police union PACs donate to Trump's campaign. So he's not going to go against the police, even if they are terrorizing the Black community. He's not going to do a thing to them. Don't hold your breath. I knew his executive order wasn't going to be too much of nothing. I knew it wasn't, and it's exactly what I had suspected. It was really a waste of time for him to do it in the first place. But I guess after Rayshard Brooks was killed, he had to look like he was somewhat concerned. But as you can see, it's a bunch of BS. So, no, it's a do-nothing bill. It really is. And trust me, it's not going to get anybody out of the streets that are protesting. People out there, they want real change, and Trump is still not offering that change, and that's a huge problem. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should know by now. Anybody that's in a leadership position and they don't look like us, they're not going to help us. And even if they do look like us, more than likely it's a coon, and they're not going to help us either. Anybody that they put in a leadership position in America is never going to be of any help to the Black community. Just understand that. And The coons are the only ones they are willing to work with. And you know the coons ain't about to do nothing to upset Massa. Nothing. Yeah, well, look at it this way. Look, when Trump came into office, did you really think he was going to help us? Well, he's living up to that. He's not helping us. So there's no point in being disappointed over anything that this man does. You know, many say that Obama was the first Black president. Well, I'm telling you, Trump is just a modern day alt-right president. That's what he is. Believe me, I have nothing good to say about Obama. He didn't do squat for us. But I still got people, diehards, that still ride for him and said he done a lot for us. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what it is he did. It must have went right over my head. But I got people that are subscribed to me that will argue with me and tell me Obama did a lot for us. And then when they tell me what he did, it's stuff that he did for everybody, not exclusively for the Black community. So, I don't accept that. All right, y'all. I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I just wanted y'all to hear all this BS. As you can see, the executive order was really a bunch of nothing. As usual. Thank Artie Be Fresh for becoming a new channel member. Yeah, nothing has changed. And Trump's going to see to it. Again, the police unions are donating all kinds of money to him, so he's not going to cross the line with the police. Yeah, yeah. All his executive order is talking about really is training. And it's not the training, it's the whole police culture that's corrupt. Not a training issue. All right, y'all. I'm going to end this live stream. I was not intending for it to be a long one anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, just know when we wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be just like today. Nothing has changed. So everybody, please have a wonderful night, and may the Most High keep protecting you, keep you safe, and fulfill all of your needs in this time of judgment on the Gentile world. Peace, family.